Well, a very good afternoon to you, America. I hope you've had a good Easter weekend, and we've certainly seen some pretty windy conditions across the northeastern section of the country yesterday. And over the course of the weekend, in fact, we had a pretty substantial storm system pushing up through basically the New England area through Atlantic Canada. We've seen significant snowfall across New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, up into Newfoundland as well, and it certainly was more like winter rather than April and spring across the far northeastern United States and through Atlantic Canada. This is the setup for the early part of this week. We've got some ridging taking place ahead of another Pacific storm system, a very large swirl over the eastern Pacific, which is gradually creeping towards the North American coast. And as it does so, it's going to be pumping warmth across the Rockies and the Great Basin, and eventually towards the Plain States as well. Further across the Texas, Oklahoma, up into Kansas, watching out for strong to severe thunderstorms today, especially across West Texas. We could be looking at a couple of isolated tornadoes. But the big threat, I believe, is some flooding downpours associated with these storms and large hail. There could be big hail producers today across, basically across the southern Plain States. But the trough across the east, cool across the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic and up into the northeast as well. Some snow showers across the interior northeast. Let's have a quick look. This is off AccuWeather.com, by the way. Looking at the ECMWF, this is the current upper level setup. This is the storm system. Large swirl, pretty strong storm at that, across basically bank slap over New Brunswick at the moment. Here is the system we're watching. This here is going to be pushing towards the California coast. As it does so, it's going to spread heavy rain, mountain snow, strong winds. All that rain, that will push all the way down through the LA basin into San Diego as well. And it will be windy and chilly as well. Notice here the warmth is getting pushed northwards from the West Mexican desert up into the Rocky Mountain states. And as this ridge pumps northwards across the western half of the United States, so too it forces colder air from central, basically the Canadian prairies, down into the midsection and eastward. So by Tuesday, you notice here that chilly air getting pushed down in a northwest flow through Minnesota into the Great Lakes region. Don't be surprised if you see some snowfall. And as well as that, we're seeing that trough pull in, wrap around chilly air from, say, Ontario, Hudson Bay, James Bay, down through the northeastern part of the country. The warmth really building across the Rocky Mountain states, but it's this system here, this strong Pacific storm system that we've been watching now for the past 5 to 7 days that's going to really cause bother. I'm also concerned here. Look at the warmth here that the ECMWF's pointing. Very, very warm. Near summer-like conditions across the desert southwest. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a 100-degree reading anywhere from, say, for example, Death Valley, California, Yuma, even perhaps Phoenix. We could be looking at upper 90s, and even into New Mexico and West Texas as well. We're going to be looking at high 90s. Look at how the trough is really digging, pulling in much colder air. Look at that across Minnesota into Wisconsin. That is going to be very chilly air. We're going to be seeing snowfall, and it certainly will be an interesting pattern. Watching out here, this week we're going to be seeing more big rains, big pre-El Nino rains across Texas, up through the Plain States across this week. Very, very different pattern to this time last year, that is for sure. Thursday, you notice here the trough still there. Going to be seeing snow showers across the northeast, but we are going to start to see an easing of that as this ridge starts to slide eastwards. Why is it sliding eastwards? Because that big Pacific storm is eventually and finally arriving along the west coast of the United States. Heavy rain, snow, wind, all associated with that system. It's going to feel very chilly as well across and throughout California as well. So just be mindful of that. But we're seeing the progression of the pattern. Showers, thunderstorms going to be firing day in, day out, anywhere from Texas and Oklahoma through the Arklatex region as well. And certainly be mindful of that today and tomorrow through Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to be looking at a persistency in that severe weather threat. By Friday, what's happening here? We're starting to see the warmth getting pushed through the plains, cooling down across the Great Basin and Rockies. That storm system carving out that trough. By the weekend, we're going to see a very different setup compared to what we see basically at the moment. Look at the trough over the west. Heat now across the central plains, and what we're seeing is height rises across the northeast. So we're going to be seeing warm up. We're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms across a wide area from the plains through the Ohio, Tennessee, Mississippi Valley up into the northeastern states by this upcoming weekend. So it's a very, very active weather week across the United States. Keep checking back to firsthandweather.com, my blog at markvoganweather.blogspot.com, and as well as that, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll keep you up to date. Have a great week, folks. Bye-bye.